Okay, I want you to take a piece of paper, and on the left side of the sheet of paper, I want you to write the word grow vertically, top to bottom, G-R-O-W. Make sure it's taken up the entire sheet of paper. Okay, G is your goals. What were your goals for 2023 when you started the year? And listing goals, appointment goals, contracts, closings, closed volume, GCI. What were your goals for each of those areas? Now, the R is reality, and reality is where are you currently on those same metrics? Listings taken, listing appointments, contracts written, closed sales, closed volume, GCI. Where are you year to date? What is your current reality? O is the obstacles. So you're looking at where you are today based on where you want to be. And the next question is, what are the obstacles that are standing between you and where you are and where you want to be? And if you're tracking simply means based on your production over the past 2 months, you are tracking 36 closed sales for the year. You've closed 3 sales in January, you closed 3 sales in February, you're tracking 36. You took 4 listings in January, you took 4 listings in February, you're tracking 48. Now, if 48 was your listing goal and you took 1 listing in January and you took 3 listings in February, you have a total of 4, and you should be at 8. So the gap is 4. What are you going to do to close the gap? What are the obstacles that are standing between where you are and where you want to be? This is an exercise that I want you to do. Don't just turn on your computer and listen to me talk. I promise you there's a lot of people that are much more entertaining to listen to than me. If you're not doing the exercises, then you're not getting the results from being here. So please do the work. Okay, W is your way forward. It would be a prescription that we're going to write in order to close the gap. And it can be more than one thing. I want you to spend some time on this exercise, and I want you to think, what am I currently not doing that if I were to start doing it today, it would move me closer to my gap? What am I doing that's working really well? What would happen if I doubled the amount of time I spent working every day in that one thing that's working really well? What am I doing that's not working that maybe I need to stop doing, because doing the same thing, expecting different results is the definition of insanity, and I'm not insane, so I'm going to stop doing this. All right. The next is a quote from Shift, and fewer leads, fewer showings, Shift. I know I have a copy close by. I always do. Okay. Shift, written by Gary Keller. All right. Read this book. If you haven't read this book, read this book. Read it over and over again and learn the lessons that are in that book. Maybe one of the most important books you can read in today's market. And I know for those of you who have seen the market pick up in the last 30 days, you're probably thinking, John, what the heck are you talking about? And I'm not telling you that I think the market is going to be bad in 2023. I am telling you that the data, the metrics that I look at, we're going to get into that in just a few minutes. The metrics that I look at tell me that we're in a shifting market. Regardless of how busy you were in February, the market data that I look at tells me we're in a shifting market. All right. Fewer leads, fewer showings, increased days on market. The minute these signs show up, take note, don't ignore them, and don't wait to act. Just because the market moves from more to less doesn't mean that you have to. Just because the market moves from more to less doesn't mean that you have to. Now, I want you to do another exercise with me. Take another sheet of paper, get out your pen, and start writing. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to make a list of every sale you closed in 2022. And next to that, I want you to write down the source. Where did that lead come from? Was it a referral? Hey, by the way, if it was a referral, was it an outgoing call that created that referral? Or was it somebody who called you and said, hey, I know somebody who wants to sell their home? There's a difference. And if you're living in that somebody called me with a referral thinking that it's going to continue, then that's a path for failure. You need to get on the phone. You need to start talking to people you know. You need to talk to your sphere of influence, your past clients, and ask them, hey, if you knew of somebody that was going to buy or sell a home, would you refer them to me? Who do you know that's looking to sell their home? And it's an outgoing call that created a referral. There is a difference. Okay, so you're going to make a list of every sale that you closed in 2022. And next to that, you're going to put down the source. Where did the lead come from? I want you to do the same exercise for Q4. I want you to look at every single sale you closed in the last quarter of 2022. Where did the lead come from? We're looking for patterns is the reason we're doing this, by the way. I want you to do the same thing for year to date, 2023. Now, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to get into your local MLS and I want you to pull data for 6 things. The first thing I want you to pull data for is closed sales in the past 6 months compared to the previous 6 months. So I want you to look at your local MLS and I want you to pull data for how many homes closed in the last 6 months in your market. Now you can break this down however you want. You could do it by city, you could do it by zip code, you could do it by county, however you want. How many homes closed in the last 6 months compared to the previous 6 months? Remember, you're looking for trends. You're looking for changes that you can track. You're looking for signals that tell you the market's different. The writing is on the wall. The second thing I want you to do in this exercise is I want you to look at days on market for the past 3 months compared to the previous 3 months. So the first thing you're going to do, I'm repeating this because I want you to write it down. I want you to do this exercise. This is the path to become the local economist of choice. This is the data that I look at so that when I'm talking to homeowners, I can share valuable information with them. This is what makes me the local economist of choice, and it'll do the same for you. So the first thing I want you to do is look at how many sales closed in the previous 6 months compared in the last 6 months compared to the 6 months prior to that. The next thing I want you to do is look at days on market for the past 3 months for homes that sold versus 3 months prior to that for homes that sold. Is there a difference? What is the data telling you? The third thing I want you to do is look at list price to sell price ratio in the last 3 months compared to the previous 3 months. Again, I'm looking for a pattern. I'm looking for data that is going to tell me, is the market changing? List price to sell price ratio for the last 3 months compared to the previous 3 months before that. The fourth thing I want you to look at is original list price to sell price ratio for homes that had a price reduction versus homes without a price reduction. Now you could do that in 3 months, so quarter by quarter by quarter. And for example, last quarter of 2022, third quarter of 2022, second quarter, and so on. And look for patterns. Again, is there a pattern? Are we moving from 99% of the original list price to 95% of the original list price? This is important information for you to know. This is important information for you to share when you're sitting at the kitchen table and you're talking to homeowners about the market. So again, the original list price to sell price ratio for homes that had a price reduction versus homes without a price reduction. The next thing I want you to look at is days on market for homes with a price reduction versus homes without a price reduction. How many days were they on the market before they closed? How many days were homes without a price reduction on the market versus how many days were homes on the market before they sold with a price reduction? You're looking for patterns. Again, this is the path to becoming the local economist of choice. All right, number 6, number of listings rejected by the market. Use those words when you're talking to homeowners versus expired listings. That's real estate talk, okay? That's how we talk to one another. That's not how the average person talks. Number of homes that were rejected by the market. In other words, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, these are the homes that didn't sell. In 2023, there were blank number of homes. So far, year to date, there have been blank number of homes that came off the market and didn't sell. In other words, they were rejected by the market. Now, I can look at the same data for the year before and see if there's a pattern. Again, once you get into this line of thinking, once you start looking for data like this, the rest of the questions, and there's a lot more, are just going to come naturally to you because you're thinking different. All right, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to get out pen and paper and I want you to start drawing pictures. I want you to draw pictures based on where the market is going. In other words, let's see if I can share screen. Hold on one second. I can do this. Helps if I have my glasses on. There we go. In other words, if we look at this picture, this is the market January of 2018. This is the number of homes that sold in the thousands. In January of 18, January of 2019, January of 2020. Look what happened between 20 and 2021. The market peaked and then it started to trail off. I want you to be able to sit at the kitchen table and draw pictures like this. I'll give you some data that you can use to do this. In 2018, in the United States, there were 5.34 million homes sold. Write it down. In 2018, there were 5.34 million homes sold. In 2019, same number, 5.34 million homes sold in the United States. In 2020, it went up to 5.6 million. In 2021, it went up to 6.12 million. And then in 2022, it dropped to 4.9 million. Interesting, right? Then the next question is, what does 2023 look like? Well, you can do your own research on that. There's a lot of people out there with opinions. One of them is Doug Duncan, who's a chief economist for Fannie Mae, and his prediction is 3.6 million. I don't necessarily agree with that, just telling you what his number is. All right, take yourself off mute, talk to me. What did you learn? What are your thoughts? What are your questions? What are you going to do different?
Hey, John, this is Claire O'Neill.
Hi, Claire.
Hi. Could you tell me a little bit about the rationale behind being able to show these statistics? I'm not trying to ask the obvious, but, you know, I'm just picturing doing this with sellers at the table and seeing their heads drop and, you know, what were you know, what are we trying to solve when we're doing this?
Okay, good question. Reality. Homeowners get their real estate information from the most part from the media, from their friends, and from their neighbors. Would you agree with that, Claire?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Now, you as a local economist of choice, as the real estate expert for the market that you work, it is your job to provide your clients, everyone that you know, your sphere of influence, your past clients, and that homeowner that's sitting at the kitchen tables who's thinking about putting their home on the market. Your job is to provide them with data. not good data, not bad data, just data. Data that they're going to use in order to make the right decision in order to get their goals accomplished. In other words, Claire, if I were sitting at the listing table with you, one of the questions I would ask in the needs analysis is, hey, Claire, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not so great and 10 being awesome, what needs to happen in the sale of your home for you to consider the experience a 10? And one of your answers could possibly be, I want it to sell quick. Cool. What would selling your home quick do for you? Why is that important to you? Well, I have a new job. It's in Atlanta and I'm moving in 90 days. So I want my home sold, closed before I move. Got it. Okay. Now, Claire, what's another goal that every homeowner has? I'll answer for you. It's to get the highest price.
Most money.
Yeah. And most money, what does that look like to you? Well, the neighbor down the street sold their home for $575. Mine's better. So I'm going to get $600. Got it. And what would that do for you? Why is that important to you? Now, Claire, one of the other questions I'm going to ask this homeowner is if you could accomplish one and maybe miss the other one by a little bit, what's the number one goal?
More money.
Okay, Claire, hang in there with me. This is good. So, Claire, if we got $600,000 for your home, but it took 90 to 120 days to do that, and you're moving in 90 days, whether your home is sold or not, and you're leaving for Atlanta and your home still isn't sold, is that a 10?
Okay.
What do you think they would say, Claire? Keep role playing with me.
No, that wouldn't be a 10.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say, Claire, is your number one goal is to have your home closed, sold, and closed within 60 days so you can move in 90 days. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if we were able to get your home under contract in 30 days and close in 60 days, you're in your new home in Atlanta to start your new job in 90 days, but you got a little less money for your home than you wanted. That would be a 10?
Well, it depends on how much less.
Okay, so Claire, here's my next question for you. If your home doesn't sell for the price you want, are you still moving to Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay, so if the market rejects your price, what's plan B?
I don't really have a plan B.
What if you had to have a plan B? What is it?
I guess to take less money.
Okay. So my job as your realtor, as a local economist of choice, is to provide you with data, real data on what the market is doing in order for you to be able to make the right decision based on real data, not based on what your neighbor's saying, so that you can get your home sold in 30 days and closed in 60 days. Now, here's the data. What is it telling you?
Yeah, that it's going to take a little longer.
Or we might have to be a little bit more aggressive on price in order to beat the competition.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Who's next?
Hey, John, this is Tracy Valentine.
Yes, hi, Tracy.
Hello. Just from these questions or these points that you want us to look up or have recommended, I think that's super helpful. I really can see how that can drive me to be that knowledge center and be able to, like you just role played with Claire, be able to help really get to what their number 10, their 10 is.
Yep.
And to be able to solve their problem in real time with all of the aspects and things going on in their life that really do mean the most to them. So I think this is super helpful so I'm going to put this on and make sure I get this. So I'm the knowledge center of my region. So super excited. Thank you.
There you go, Tracy. Thank you for sharing. Valerie in the chat, it's page 49. Page 49. There it is. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me this morning. I appreciate all of you.